Hey guys and girls, what is going on? It is Zazzri today, and I'm bringing you a bit of a different video. I've talked about this for a few weeks, speaking that I wanted to do this. I think I might call it Transfer Talk. I've no idea what I'm going to call it. Basically, it's just going to be me going through a team. I just thought it's a bit of a fun series to do. I'll see how this one goes. It might be, poorly received and stuff, so we'll have to see. I'm just going to do Chelsea for start, just because they're the team I support, and I can talk most knowledgeably about them. So I thought I'd do them. Gameplay in the background is just a sim game between Atletico and Chelsea. I just thought, because we played in the Champions League semi-finals, why not just see what would happen if it was a sim game on FIFA. So yeah, let's get into it. Basically, I'll just go through the team, talk about how we've done this season, and then talk about who I want them to sign. Different transfer rumours and stuff and that kind of thing. So starting off with Chelsea. So goalkeeping situation for me, Petr Cech, I do really like him and stuff. In an ideal world, I almost feel like I'd prefer to have Courtois back this season coming up, and then maybe him and Cech. So Cech could become the goalkeeper for cup games. I think that could be pretty good. That could work, and then you could have Courtois playing regularly in the league. I don't know. I mean, that's the ideal situation for me. I can't speak. I think honestly, what will happen is though that. He'll just stay there, and he won't actually come back this season at least. So I think that's what will happen. But hopefully, I'd prefer him to come back, and then maybe one of them be the cup goalkeeper rather than having to get rid of one of them, because Czech's been really good this season for us. So, I mean, I've got no issues with getting rid of him. Moving on to the defence, and I also just want to say, by the way, so I was really upset getting rid of Lampard, Cole, and David Luiz, but I read an article today saying that got rid of £400,000 a week in wages. I mean, that is huge. And also, if you think about it, the David Luiz sale and the Mata sale is almost £90 million, so that gives us a lot of money to mess around with. And the Kevin De Bruyne sale as well, involved in that as well. Almost gives us 90 million, which I mean is incredible. It'll give us a lot of money to spend, and getting rid of those sort of older players, although I'm sad to see them go, will give us a lot of money on the wage budget that we can spend as well. So I mean, I would expect a lot of spending this summer, and that's why I'm talking about a lot of different players coming in and out. But yeah, defence, I won't really get rid of anyone. I think that it's good as it is. I'd bring Kurt Zouma back and use him as a rotational player, just because I think he'd be able to get mentored under Terry and Cahill, a great partnership, and he'd be very useful. Say if Terry got injured for a game, I think he'd be good there. But possibly, I know it's unlikely, but it's very unlikely I've seen us linked with Varane, who plays for Real Madrid. Every time I see him play, he's really good at tackling people. I know that seems simple, but I don't know, he just seems amazing. A really good player would run at him and he'd just strip the ball of them instantly. But I think that's unlikely. I think that the reports that were on Twitter and stuff were saying, that it got rejected and all this sort of stuff, but Mourinho wants him. But yeah, if we could get him, it'd be awesome. Left back situation needs sorting out. We need a new left back. Ideally, I'd want Felipe Luis, the left back for Atletico Madrid. I think that he's a really good player. And I've heard deals talked about where it's Felipe Luis, Thiago, and Diego Costa for a certain amount. So it could be that. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But I think he'd be a really good left back. He seems like a really good player. Another one that, I mean, it's a pretty much done deal that Shaw's going to Man United, but I think it'd be cool if we could get Luke Shaw, just because he's a really good left back, and he's kind of young, so I think that Aspilicueta could play, and then he just rotate in and out. But I mean, he's pretty much going to Man United now, so that's I was just going to bring that up, that it'd be cool if we did sign him, but for the money that he's been talked about, I just don't think he's worth 30 million for a left back. If he wasn't English, I don't think we'd be paying that much for him. So I mean, I don't think Man United would be paying that much for him. So I mean, I don't think that he's worth that much. I mean, I wouldn't pay 30 million for Felipe Luis. He's a proven great left back. Never mind, a young 18-year-old that's a lot of potential for things to go wrong from an 18-year-old. Moving on to the midfield, I think we need to sign some central midfielders. So apparently Thiago's pretty much a done deal. He's a free agent now. His contract with Atletico's run out, and he played for us. I just found him like a boring signing. I know that sounds bad, but I mean he's good. He's got experience and he's a good player. He's played well for Atletico, but he's not a really exciting signing. But apparently that's done. Fabregas we've been talked about with a lot the past few days. The thing about Fabregas is that I hate him just because obviously we have to play against him and stuff. But if he's playing for us, I'd be really happy. And I think he's a really good player. He's got really good passing and dribbling skills. He's not that quick, but if he's playing sort of central midfield, he doesn't have to be that quick. It just depends whether Jersey wants to play him. If you wanted to play him as like an attacking midfielder, I wouldn't want us to sign him just because why add another player to that attacking midfielder's role when we've got people like Christian Atsu who are on loan that are really good as well amongst the Oscars, the Williams. Why do that? I just think it's a bit silly. But if he's playing central midfield or a defensive midfielder, probably centre midfield is more likely. But if he's playing there, I think that it'd be a great signing. And we'll do it on Matic because Matic is the big, strong defensive midfielder that can win the ball and stuff like that. And then you got Fabregas as the sort of the Xavi, the Iniesta. I mean, I'm not comparing him to him. I'm just saying he's that sort of player, rather than a big strong midfielder that wins you the ball all the time. We've also been linked with Koke, but apparently he's more interested in signing for Barca. But I'd be happy to sign him too. And apparently Pogba, but apparently Juventus wants 65 million for him. Pogba is an immensely good player. Like, so good on FIFA. I mean, I know that's not really linked to real life, but I mean, he's also really good in real life. Every time I see him, and he scores such wonderful goals. He'd be such a great signing, but not for 65 million. Like, I just think that's just silly money. I mean, even though we've got a lot of money to spend this summer, I think that really would be silly. I mean, that's just like it's just breeding another flop. Like 65 million for a midfielder would be absolutely ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I mean, if we did sign him, I would be really happy. It's just that I just think he's not worth 65 million. I don't think there's any midfielders that I'd pay 65 million for. And then up front, what I'd like to see is Diego Costa. I think that he'd be a really good striker, and he's been really in form this season, so I think he'd be great. And apparently that's a done deal, but don't quote me on that. I mean, obviously the transfer window hasn't opened, so saying done deal, it doesn't really matter because it's not a done deal yet. But I'd like to see Costa, Lukaku, and either Barra or Torres. Apparently the reason that it's hard to sell Torres is because he's 175,000 a week, and not many clubs want to pay him that much money, and that's the issue with that. A lot of clubs, could afford him into Milan and stuff, but they don't want to pay him 175,000 a week, and he doesn't want to take a pay cut. So that's the issue there. But I would prefer Barra. I think Demba Barra is actually quite a good striker if he was given more of a chance. I mean, at Newcastle, I was wary of him when we played against them. He was always a really good striker, so I think that he'd be a good third option for us. Lukaku is the sort of backup to Costa, and yeah, but I don't think that's very likely. I think Lukaku's going to be sold because Mourinho doesn't like him, and Eto's gone. I'm not too sure what's going to happen to Torres and Barra. I don't know if they're both going to go, if one of them go. If they both went and we needed another striker, I'd say Dzeko would be a really good choice, really good finisher, or Jovetic. Jovetic has been amazing every time I see him play, and he's not really in favour. I don't think there's any point trying to get Negredo or Aguero, even though they're very good players, just because I don't think that Man City would sell them to us. But Dzeko and Jovetic would be really good. Looking at different teams, there are a lot of different players that would be really good, striker-wise. But I just don't think we're going to be able to sell both of them, even though in the perfect world I think we would, and we'd just buy replacements for them, just because Torres, although I love him, I think he's a really hard-working, good player. He's just not the prolific goal scorer that we need right now, and bar the same thing. If you've got the choice now, you've got loads of money, why not go out and spend loads on a great striker that's going to do as well for years? In a year or two, Bar's not even going to be good enough anyway. So that's that. The formation I like to see us play is a 4-2-3-1. If we got someone like sorry, my voice is going a little bit. Pogba or Fabregas who like to play in that central midfield role. I'd say push them into a centre midfield role and get Matic to just be the defensive midfielder. He's a really good player, really shined for us this season. In terms of other players across the team, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the likes of Ramirez and Mikel. We're definitely going to have to sign a central midfield player, just because we need more legs there. But yeah, I hope to see a big signing, a big signing in defence, probably a left back, a big signing in midfield, and possibly 1 or 2 big signings up front. And I think that's been our issue this season. We just haven't converted the goals, and we've just lacked a little bit of quality sometimes. I don't know what to put my finger on it as. Our defence has been great. Czech's been pretty good. The likes of Hazard's been good. Willian's been really good. Oscar's blown hot and cold this season. Eto's been pretty good actually. He's been better than I expected. But yeah, that's that. Basically, we were winning 1-0 against Atletico, and there we are, we've won. If you enjoyed the episode, guys, please give it a like rating. Please leave a comment on who you think Chelsea should sign, and if you're a Chelsea fan, who you think they'll sign and who you want them to sign. And please let me know if you want me to do this series with the teams. I'll look into their team, pick a few Premier League teams to start off with and say, okay, I think they should buy these players, the big link with these players, and talk about it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.